Last time I was at Tucker Carlson's house, and he had a Bible, and he told me that Nick Fuentes. Well, hold on a second. I should stop right there.
Tell me afterwards.
I've heard an enormous amount of rumors that Nick Fuentes is gay.
Oh yes, yes.
Not from just one person.
Well, let me.
It certainly seems.
Let me convert it from rumor to reality. Yes, but, yes. Continue.
Do you know my ex-girlfriend Lauren Hayden by any chance? She did a thing with Fuentes, and she's I think very attractive young lady.
She's very pretty,
and she's trying.
You've always had lovely girls.
Well, thank you.
You've always had lovely girls.
Milo once met these two college babes I was dating at the same time.
Yes, I did.
Those were the glory days.
You know, to be honest with you, it's the only thing I remember about the evening. I just thought, Martin, really? That's, you see.
I had two more back at home. No, but in all seriousness,
he's always had lovely girls.
But Lauren's flirting with Nick, and Nick's just sort of like doesn't know what to do. And he's sort of, it was the weirdest thing.
No, not knowing
Doesn't
what
he
to do.
remind you of Ben Shapiro?
Yeah,
I feel like they're like very similar.
You know, I heard you'll never understand the burden of waking up in a cold sweat at 3 a.m. realizing you're responsible both for Lady Marga, the Trump-supporting drag queen, and Nick Fuentes. These are the things I have to carry with me. Okay. So
well, I got to tell a quick story about Nick, just for that. Milo introduced me to Nick on text.
Sorry.
And yeah. Thank you for that apology. So I didn't know anything about this guy other than he was kind of online and popular and right wing. And so I Google him, and I'm just like, oh shit. And so he's like, he said hi, et cetera. And I say, yeah, nice to meet you, whatever. So I Google him and I said, Nick, you don't think the Holocaust didn't happen, do you? And he sort of backpedaled, fairly furiously. He was like, well. No, of course I think it happened, but and I was like, well, what? And it was just like this very weird text message, last text message I sent him. And I just was like, when maybe you can pull that shit on Rumble, but, I just don't know how he deals with like.
It's my favorite joke, actually.
This
is worse than the Holocaust because this actually happened. But it is a joke,
Well, that's a good thing.
You can argue about numbers.
I'm not sure I'm not sure that he gets that. And to me, that was like the weirdest, scariest thing because it's like, hey, man.
I realized afterwards. Well, I realized during the course of trying to fix him that he doesn't really particularly care about or believe in anything.
It's like a sociopath thing.
Yeah.
Would you say he's like a mirror of these people?
No. Because
who's these people?
He means the protesters, not this nice man in the.
I was going to say what?
Not this nice man in the powder blue.
That's an interesting question.
My grandmother had talcum powder that color. I remember it very vividly.
It's this like, I won't listen to anything you say. I don't care what you say. No evidence, doesn't matter.
No.
Holocaust didn't happen.
No, it's a different dysfunction because he's operating at a level removed from his feelings. He's denying his homosexuality. He's denying his drives. He's denying everything.
It's more advanced form of sociopathy.
Well, these people aren't sociopaths. These are the opposite of sociopaths. These are the people. These protesters are people with no self-control, no discipline, no restraint, no discernment, no ability to hide what they're feeling.
They're NPCs, basically.
Right. Yeah. Whereas Nick is a bumbling, blundering, not particularly effective sociopath who is no longer capable, if he ever was, of having authentic emotional reactions to things. He's now in this position where he is. He regards all success as suspect because he is out deep in the wildernesses of failure, and so any kind of success that Trump has or whatever must be because he sold out.
I've seen a bunch of this lately, especially with like this right-wing new talking point, which is anybody supporting Kamala was on Epstein Island or something like that.
Right, and it's
which is kind of stupid.
If X happens, it can only be because of Y, and it basically boils down to the fact that Nick cannot imagine success because he can't achieve it. It's being possible unless you are dirty, corrupt.
All conspiracies work that way, like 9/11, for example.
All generalizations for the particular, right?
Yeah, I can't imagine 9/11 happened the way it happened. There must be different
because I wouldn't be able to do it like that, so it can't have happened that way.
Was that even the question? I don't think so.
No.
Well, it wasn't just confined to Nick Fuentes, but I've also noticed this with some other dissident right figures like Richard Spencer, Richard Hanania. Like all of them, like were originally very like anti-woke or just like very very anti-normie like views on stuff like race stuff and IQ, etc. But they've seemingly like abandoned all of that in favor of pushing the mainstream like Democratic Party or like just
or
a
they go
pro-Harris
nuts
ticket.
in some other way. I think that you are hearing from this evening the only two people who stayed sane after cancellation. I think everybody else has been broken by it. You look at Laura Loomer. You know, either their personality contracts around it and it's all they have and it's all they are, and then when they get their Twitter account back, it's like a catastrophe. It's the worst thing ever happened because they don't know what they are anymore. They don't know what to do with themselves, and they're still talking in 2024 about free fucking speech. Like, give me a break.